If I would have known that I could make my forehead smaller, I'd have been doing that mess years ago. Hey everybody, it's MakeupMenaree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are returning to my channel, then what's going on? What's good with y'all? If you are new to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell before you leave. We do lots of makeup tutorials that are super easy, funny ass reviews on Amazon. It's a little bit of a mess over here sometimes, but you know, it is what it is. Let's get started on the video for today. So if you read the title, you sort of already know what it's about. So this idea sort of popped up several months ago from one of my subscribers, Miss Ride or Die and Crane, and that is recreating my makeup look for my wedding. I got married in 2015, so that was 4 years ago. The way that I wear my makeup has obviously changed a lot since then, and I did my own makeup that day. Doing makeup for me is relaxing, plus I'm cheap and I don't want to pay nobody to do it. And I was contemplating whether I should redo my makeup the way I would do it today or just completely copy what I did back then. And I think that it would probably be funnier to look at how I did my makeup back then. Let me go ahead and put my hair back first off my greasy, sweaty forehead. I swear it's so hot in here today. So the only thing that I've done to my face is just, you know, moisturizer. I haven't put anything else on. I still use a lot of the products, so that makes it sort of easy. Alrighty, so I got married on the beach in Galveston in Texas in April. Although it wasn't hot yet, it was super sort of humid out. The few days before it was raining like crazy, but the day of, beautiful. It was about 75 to 77 degrees, so it was still pretty warm outside. And I knew that I did not want to be up there looking like my face was just melting off from the humidity and from the heat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my T-zone areas with the Professional, which was my jam back in the day. There you go, focus. I haven't used this in a long time. You ever use products that you hadn't used in a long time and wonder why you stopped using it? Anyway, that's with this. Got on my T-zone area because I know I'm greasy as hell, and that helps my makeup from sliding all over the place. Next, I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. Am I talking super fast today? Let me know in the comments if I'm like blah, blah, blah. I feel hype. Anyway, so I'm going to go in with my NYX Matte Setting Spray and give myself a good spritz. Let me find something to fan my face so I'm not sitting here all day. Okay, so while that's drying, I'll go ahead and talk about the foundation that I use back then. And I still really like this foundation, but this was my shit back in the day. The MAC Pro Longwear Nourishing Foundation. I love the Studio Fix. I love the regular MAC Pro Longwear, but I really like this because it's like waterproof, and I needed all the help that I could get. So I really do love this stuff. I carry it around in my makeup bag for like if I need like a touch-up or if some disaster happens throughout the day and I need to fix it. So I'm in the color NC35. In the normal Pro Longwear, I'm in NC40, I believe, but this does oxidize. It's darker a shade. So I'm going to go ahead and with a brush, because back then I really didn't know much about sponges. And you guys will see as I put this on, it's a little lighter, but it will oxidize as it, you know, wears. So don't be scared. It's crazy that like just a few years ago, all the things that I really didn't use, like I love sponges to apply foundation with now, but I didn't really use sponges back then. I guess I just didn't really know about them or wasn't super familiar or comfortable, but that's all I use now. I barely ever use a brush. Okay, so I will make sure to pop as many pictures up of my makeup as I can. We had a professional photographer, but something went hella crazy with that. I'm not even gonna get into that situation. So basically, the only pictures that I have are just a few from the people that were at the wedding that were taking pictures, and let me not get into all that. The pictures I can find of my makeup, I'll go ahead and insert them so you guys can see what I'm doing. But anyway, next is concealer. So I know that I was using the Age Rewind back then because I've been using it forever, and I specifically remember bringing this with me. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little in the center, because the next thing that we're going to do is working on these square ass crazy ass eyebrows that I was wearing back then. I was excited because I had just grew my eyebrows back and I thought it was all that with these huge square eyebrows, you know, but it is what it is. Let me see, what powder was I using? Hold on one second. I have everything I need. Okay, so to set that, I was using the Airspun, which I still use. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that concealer that I just laid on my forehead and on my chin. So I am referencing a picture down here. If you guys see me looking down, I'm just looking at a picture of myself. You can see what exactly I did to my face. Okay, so next I'm going to start with the eyebrows. So back then I was still using the Anastasia pomade, which that's a mess on top. I'm using the Dip Brow, and this is in the color dark brown. And I am using the Anastasia brow brush as well. And started on these eyebrows. So I grew my eyebrows out like 6 months before I got married. I just didn't want to have those skinny ass eyebrows in my wedding photos. And so I grew them out. They were pretty thick, pretty square, not a lot of arch to them. So I'm going to go ahead and try to recreate that. I don't wear them obviously like that anymore. Some of my older videos on this channel, you might be able to see those brows. They were a little severe. But anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I probably will just do one side, and then for time's sake, I'll do the other side off camera. Y'all don't want to see these almost bad brows. Like they weren't as bad as the brows I've had, but they're right up there. So I made them really, really like straight, like no arch. So I'm going to start down here and make them as straight across as possible. And they were also pretty close together, inner corner here. And don't blame me. I saw Wayne Goss say the closer your eyebrows are together, the smaller your nose looks. And I was like, ooh, let me go ahead and try that. And that's what I was doing. So don't blame me. It's not my fault. Blame him. Then I was also doing something with the tail. It was this real small and sort of like triangular. Okay, I think that's as close as it's gonna get to the brow that I used to wear. My brow shape now is a little different as well, but that's pretty close. Super dark, super straight across. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so that's as close as it's gonna get to how my brows used to be. I believe they were even more square than this, but I just can't get them that straight because they just don't grow that way anymore. Okay, so that is how I used to wear them. So next we're going to go ahead and do my eyeshadow. This is a point when I was using this, I don't know, I did this eyeshadow look for everything. It was sort of like, you know, white faded into like, you know, the color or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I did use primer. I've always used primer. So I'm going to use the NYX HD primer. Been using this primer for years because it works. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and throw some Airspun on the top of that just so that just so I'm able to blend out my eyeshadow easier. So I searched high and low for a burgundy eyeshadow. This one I believe is by Makeup Geek. I think it's Bitten. And I just ordered the single pot because that's all I needed. I do have it in an Ulta container. So let me go ahead and reference my picture because I don't wear my eyeshadow like this anymore. Okay, so I did not use any transition colors. I didn't know anything about that. I just went ahead and got in with that color and went at it. So I'm going to go ahead and sweep this mostly in the outer corner of my eye and blend it up. Now, although I didn't know about no transition colors, a girl still blended her eyeshadow. That was number one, blending that mess out. I don't think I went up too far back then because, you know, I was in denial about having hooded eyes and we just didn't do that. We didn't pull it all the way up to where we should have, so. Okay, so that was about all I did for that base color there. Now I'm going to go in with a darker color, black. I don't have the black that I did back then. I remember exactly what color it was. It was a black by NYX. Dropped my makeup bag and that thing shattered into a million pieces. God rest her soul. Jaclyn Hill palette has a really, really good matte black. So go ahead and take that black and just dab it on the outer corner. Because, you know, girl wanted some dimension. This is what she thought, you know, that V was going to give her some dimension. That's all I knew back then. So I'm going to go ahead and take this original brush that I was using with the burgundy and blend that out. Sort of over towards my crease a little bit. And just sort of up into the burgundy color. For the love of God, I want to like blend it even more than this, but I know that I did not do all that. So we gotta leave her like this. This is what it's looking like so far. So next what I used to do is just take like a lighter shade, either shimmery or it didn't matter, just a lighter shade, and I would throw that in there with a little, one of these little sponges, which I still use. Don't be knocking those. I think I'm going to use the same Jaclyn Hill palette in, because these two colors are very similar to the colors I used to use. I don't remember what palette that was on. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of that on this little brush here. And yeah, that's like the perfect shade that I used to use. So I used to just drag that over here like this, a little bit above my crease and over, almost to meet that black there. I've blended that out so that there's no like crease lines there. I'm going to bring that color over just a little bit more into my eyelid. Sort of like a fake, like half cut crease, I guess. Before cut creases were like super popular. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with that original burgundy shade and just give myself a little more color up here at the top where I lost it. And I think that looks about right for, let me look at the picture for that. So now I'm going to go in with an eyeliner. I used ink eyeliners. I know back then I was using the e.l.f. ink eyeliner, but I think I haven't bought that one in years. They changed the formula and I stopped buying all that. So let me see. I'm looking to see what ones I have over here. By Hard Candy. Both of these are ink eyeliners. You can see they're just ink eyeliners. So I think I'm going to use the Hard Candy one though. So I did a pretty thick liner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and take a Q-tip, a wet Q-tip, and just sort of clean that up. And then also I had this all cleaned up. It wasn't like blended out there. So of course I'm going to have to go back with my foundation and fix that. So yeah, that is it. Like I said, you know, don't come for me. This was sort of the style 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And yeah, for the time it was pretty, but now it's definitely not something that I would do. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I'll just do it. You guys can watch. I'm not going to really talk you through it, and then we'll go on with the rest of the face. Okay guys, that is what we are looking like so far. Yeah, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is add my eyelashes real quick. I was using super light wispy Ardell's, and these are pretty similar to the Ardell ones that I was wearing. So I'm going to pop those on real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, when my eyelashes are drying, I'm going to go ahead and continue my highlight. Sorry, I forgot to push record before I started putting this on. Or not highlight, but my concealing. So I used to go hella heavy with this stuff. We all know nowadays you don't need that much. Just a little goes a long way. But, you know, back then I used a lot. So I did just Pull that all the way up into my hairline and all the way under my eye. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just set that now with the same Airspun powder. Now for contouring, I didn't do a lot of contouring, like I was new to it, so it was very light. I was using the Black Radiance True Complexion palette, and as you can see, these are the two that I use. I blend those together and do a very light forehead contour. Like very light, like I was not contouring much at all back then. Just, it was a new concept to me. If I would have known that I could make my forehead smaller, I'd have been doing that mess years ago. Okay, so for highlighter, I was using MAC's Double Gleam. As you can see, it's just barely there. And that's all of the highlighting that I did. And now back in with that same contour palette, I'm going to go ahead and do some contouring on my cheeks. Now, in pictures, I seen that it wasn't as blended out as it could have been. So yeah, that is about all the contouring that I did. Super light, but not super blended. I remember using this blush all the time. This is Makeup Studio. So this is the blush that I used. I don't use this blush anymore because it's sort of cool toned and it just sort of looks ashy sometimes. Probably ashy back then too, and I just didn't realize, you know, the difference between the different shades of blushes. Because I didn't use a whole lot of blush back then. Just a little bit to give my cheeks a little color. I'm going to go in with that black that I use, and I'm going to drag that under my lower lash line. I think I'm just going to go in with one of these little sponges because that's probably what I used. Okay, that looks... I'm going to go ahead and put a little mascara on. Okay, so now for my lip color. I know in most of my pictures the color was already wiped off, but the color I was using was similar to the colors on my cheeks. Jasmin LeBelle Matte Liquid Lipstick. And this was around the shade that I used. I don't remember which lipstick I used back then. In my face, one last spritz. Okay guys, so this is basically what my makeup looked for my wedding. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just that I use different techniques now, things to make your eyes look bigger if you have hooded eyes. If you guys want to see me redo my wedding makeup the way that I would do it now, then make sure to comment below. I feel like that would be sort of a fun video to do, sort of redo it, use the same shades, but the techniques that I use now. If you guys like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.